Hello fellas, today I will be teaching you how to install Tears of the Kingdom for Yuzu or Suyu and Ryujinx. Let me go into a few disclaimers before we get into this, which I highly recommend you listen to. You must dump these game files yourself for this tutorial, as I do not condone piracy and the use of these emulators for that. However, if you do need help doing this, check the description for my Discord server. With that out of the way, let us begin with the Yuzu and Suyu version first. If you have Ryujinx instead, skip to the timestamp on screen. The first thing you are going to need is the emulator itself. You can find the links to download Ryujinx, and if you need help on finding a build of Yuzu, you can join my Discord in the description. I would recommend Yuzu due to its performance gain, but it's up to you. Again, you can get help getting your files I show in the video by joining the Discord server in the description. Your keys must go first, then your firmware, as it is necessary to decrypt the firmware and the game itself. The versions of firmware and keys also must match, or else it will crash due to mismatch. Now the first thing you want to do is come to Tools and click on Install Decryption Keys. Go to your Keys folder and click on the Keys file, click on Open, and let that install. Now come back to Tools, click on Install Firmware, choose your firmware folder, click on Select Folder, and let those install next. I already have them installed, so I won't do it again. Now, double-click to add a new game directory. This is my game directory here. Click on Select Folder, and then put your NSP files into that folder. They will automatically show up here. Now that that is finished, the game is technically there, but I don't actually recommend playing it right now. We can install performance mod that not only make it run slightly smoother, but look better and run at uncapped frame rates, and we can install newer updates. Come to the top left here, click on File, click on Install Files to NAND, and then go to your Updates folder and choose the 1.21 update, and click on Open to install it. I already have it applied, as you can see here. There aren't any DLCs for Tears of the Kingdom, but if for other games, you would just do the same thing, but your DLC files instead. File, install to NAND, and then your DLC files. Now look under add-ons and make sure your game update was applied successfully. Now go to Emulation, Configure, Controls, and you can modify controls here if you want. And I'd also recommend swapping the A and B buttons, but that's up to you. You can also modify dead zone here if your camera movement is a little janky, but for mine, it's fine. Then go to graphics and make sure your graphics API is set to Vulkan and that your resolution is set to whatever you please. I have mine at 1.5 times because I have a 1080p monitor. With that out of the way, there is one more mod I want to show you how to install to increase performance and uncap FPS. However, it is later in the video. Skip to the timestamp on screen if you wish to skip the Ryujinx section. Now for the Ryujinx tutorial. Like I said before, you will need files. If you need help getting these files normally, you can go to my Discord server in the description for more information. First things first, we should add our game directory to make things look better. Come to Options, Settings, and then add a directory here. I already have one, so I won't. Just make sure the base NSP file is inside of the folders so it shows up over here. Now click on Actions, Install Keys File. As you can see here, just select both of these and click on Open. Then go to Actions again after that is installed. Install Firmware, and Install Firmware folder. Select your firmware folder and let that install as well. Now you can run the game from here, but I do not recommend it so you can have mod support and a newer version. Right click on your game and click on Manage Title Updates. Click on Add and then go to your update folder and select the update you want to apply. As you can see, it was just added there. Then click on Save, and as you can see, it should change right here. Now for some settings. Come to Options, Settings, and then go to Input. Your controller has to be on for this step. I would recommend swapping A and B buttons on an Xbox controller, but it is up to you. You can also fidget with the dead zone if your camera is a little janky. Now come to graphics and make sure your graphics backend is set to Vulkan, and then change your resolution scale to whatever you like. Changing it lower adds more performance, making it higher makes the game itself look better. Then make sure Enable Shader Cache is set to true. The first time you launch the game, it may be laggy as shaders compile, but after that it'll run much smoother and you won't need to recompile every time with this enabled. Now, you can run the game from here, but I would like to show you a mod first to help you make your game run smoother and uncap your FPS. For now, that is the final Ryujinx step. Now I would like to show NX Optimizer, a mod that essentially uncaps your game's frame rate and makes it look moderately better. You can find this mod set up in the description below by going to the GitHub I have here and clicking on the NX Optimizer 3.2.0 exe and downloading it. Once open, come up here to the top right and click on Tears of the Kingdom 3.0, which is essentially a newer release version of NX Optimizer for Tears of the Kingdom. If you have compatibility issues, you can use 2.7.1 instead. Now come to the left here to menu FPS and FPS. Make sure FPS is set to whatever your monitor's refresh rate, and menu FPS, you don't have to touch it. You can if you want to, it doesn't really matter. Then change your FOV to not something too big. Sometimes it gets a little unstable and janky looking if it goes too high, so I wouldn't really change it past the base. Change your resolution to whatever your monitor's resolution is, or lower if you want more performance. Leave aspect ratio alone. You can lower the shadow resolution to get more performance, and then render distance just keep on default. Now come to the top right and switch it based on whatever emulator you have. Ryujinx is for Ryujinx, and Legacy is for every other emulator. Make sure dynamic FPS is checked. If you want free cam, you can enable that too, but if you don't plan on using it, you can just leave it unchecked. Sometimes you accidentally activate it and forget how to deactivate it. With that out of the way, go back to your emulator, look under your game, make sure the mod is there. It should say something like Tears of the Kingdom Optimizer. Run your game, and enjoy. Keep in mind that your first launch may be a little laggy in the first area due to shader compilation. It is important that you have shader cache enabled so it won't be this laggy every time. If you ever go from super smooth to super laggy, you should reset your shader cache. If your emulator crashed when adding the game, make sure only the game file or files are in the folder. If your game crashed when starting, after adding NX Optimizer, make sure you have the update added first, because the base game is not compatible with it. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and if you had any issues, make sure to hit me up on my Discord server for help, and I will see you in the next one.
Third-degree burns over 90% of his body.